too, instead of just a knockoff Scorched.
Oh, yeah. Can you still launch nukes and ruin servers? That's my question.
Pretty sure.
Good.
Glad to hear the artistic vision of 76 is still intact.
When they make a Fallout 5, I hope that those developers are aware that they have to put in another nuke and like make it so you can crash your game. They just need to start incorporating the bugs into the game.
Well, New Vegas let you launch a nuke, and that game crashed all the time.
That's true. New Vegas 2 coming soon.
Bone and Xbox, because that's where Obsidian is.
Bam.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Alternative Input, the only podcast on the internet, and I am here with, my two favorite Happy Meal toys I ever received as a child. To my left, those weirdly collectible but not very valuable Batman glass mugs. It's Wally.
Riddler or bust. Scarecrow's okay.
Bam. To my right, those little Transformers toys that were sort of Transformers toys. It's Chuck.
I wanted to be the Shrek glasses or Shrek toys that were contaminated and gave kids illnesses. But
you can be that.
I could be like a Transformers toy that transforms into a Shrek sickening glass or
you
something.
You can just transform into a Shrek too. That would be even better.
Also works.
It's rude to insult Smash Mouth like that, okay?
You guys,
good point.
I enjoy this new generation of YouTubers because I saw a guy that I've never heard of before that was just calling up other famous YouTubers and tricking them into saying all the words to "Hey Now," but like without them knowing that. And then he just made a full montage of the song with all of their responses on FaceTime.
You sent that to me?
We brought the meme full circle. It was quite lovely.
I need you to send that to me as soon as possible.
I would be happy to. But yeah, so in quarantine still, coronavirus, living it up. Everybody in the world.
Space Godzilla living his best life.
He sure is. He's very popular on TikTok.
Oh.
So we are here. We are here to talk about some shit. I've got still some video games to talk about, so that's fun, I guess. I don't know about you guys.
Same. Wally has nothing, I guess.
A video game.
He just had a dramatic pause there.
We're gonna talk about our weeks now. Games that we've been playing and shit.
I forgot that we had a sound effect for that.
I also did.
Did we do that on the last episode?
We sure did,
not.
because I forgot.
Why don't you go first? I need to answer the door.
Oh, I thought he literally meant I'll talk first.
Yeah, that's what I thought too. I can go first.
Yeah, by all means.
All right, so still playing Animal Crossing, still playing PSO2. Nothing has changed from the last episode. They're still good. Give them a shot if you're into them, especially PSO2 because it's free. And if you have Game Pass Ultimate, you get bonuses in the game for free.
What? I didn't know that.
Yeah, Game Pass Ultimate started doing perks for Game Pass games now.
Man, it's almost like that's an amazing deal.
Almost, yeah.
Hey, Microsoft, if you have some extra ad dollars, we'd love to talk about all the awesome features of Game Pass Ultimate in every episode.
Oh, I'll show out for Microsoft. Shit.
Please go to alternative input /Microsoft /floating up questions for your free week trial of Expo and Unlimited.
It's a 3-day trial.
I'm amazed we got that good of an offer.
But onto stuff I have been playing. I picked up a game on the Switch called Good Job.
Good job.
Mm.
Good Job.
Okay, I'm
Which
intrigued.
You start as an inept office worker
Okay.
working under your dad, and your goal is to just do tasks like fix the internet, set up a projector, stuff like that. Being inept, though, usually doing those jobs involves breaking a lot of things.
Oh yeah, I think I've seen this.
It's an office sandbox where you can destroy pretty much everything.
Huh.
It was like a sort of almost like job simulator, worky, jokey thingamajigger.
Yeah. It's quite fun using like power cords to create like rubber bands and just pulling like a projector or a piece of wall and just launching it, or grabbing a coworker in their chair and launching them. Fire extinguishers have unlimited gas, so they can become propellants. Launching things out of windows is fun.
Huh.
Just you're graded on how little damage you do, but the game very much wants you to do as much damage as you can.
Seems kind of counterintuitive.
Well, like going for the high scores and like minimal damage, that's one way to do it. And then you can just have fun and break everything. So it has both sides of the coin.
It's
Yeah,
not.
there's that.
It's not really the same game, but this really kind of reminds me of. Did you guys ever play back when Adult Swim did like flash games on their website or whatever, and that one where you had to kill yourself?
Sounds familiar, but I can't put a name or image to it.
Can't say I played it.
That's fine. It just sort of reminds me of that, for I guess a flashback for anybody that remembers fucking flash games that were relevant.
But what I really enjoy about it is that it does have co-op too,
Nice.
which really enables a lot of stupid stuff. Like one person holding a plug so that you can get it at just the right angle. Then the other person launches stuff.
It almost seems like, I'm looking at the game now, and it almost seems like somebody took Gang Beast and like tried to make an actual game out of it and pulled the camera out.
Yeah. Yeah, I could see that.
Huh. It's cute.
It's cute, it's fun, it's not very expensive.
Like $10, $15.
It was on sale when I bought it. I don't remember how much.
Yeah, that's fine.
Great
not-
for kids, though. Kids will love it.
Nice.
What else have I been playing that's new?
Mario 64.
Oh, I apologize for the dead silence. I will get back when I can remember what I have played.
That's fair.
You do what you gotta do. Doug, is it you or me?
I can go next, I guess.
Do it.
I have played 15 hours of... No, it's actually more than that. I've played 17 hours of Final Fantasy VII Remake. Ask me anything.
Now, given that you are the biggest Final Fantasy VII fanboy in
yeah.
our
Yeah, I
group
sure
here,
Aerith's death is tattooed on my chest.
how does the Chocobo racing compare to the previous iteration, which was obviously your favorite pastime?
Oh yes, certainly so. I would liken it to to Burnout Paradise more than anything else. I would definitely liken it to the drifting specifically. Really reminds me of Forza 7, specifically in some good ways. They still were able to implement good blue shell tech, I'm going to call it, you know.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Is there actually chocobo racing in the remake?
There is no at this current section. No.
I was gonna say
Gotcha.
I didn't know if it
Chocobo,
came in a later
Chocobo
portion.
racing does not come in until you get to the Golden Saucer, which is not in this game.
Which is mini game, mini games, mini games, mini game.
Dude,
That's what I thought I heard.
the number one thing I'm going to say about this game is if they keep on track with the people that were making the mini games for this game and give them the Golden Saucer, I am 100% on board, because I have been weirdly compelled with most of the mini games that I have come across thus far.
How are them squats?
Them squats is pretty good. I'm also going to personally say, because like I took it as a good sign, even just in that like there's a fair amount of games that I don't do side content a lot of the time. Assassin's Creed definitely ruined any interest I have in side content for almost any video game ever. But even the second I came across a dart mini game and I felt weirdly compelled to show Tifa, Barrett, and Wedge their stupid fucking faces that I could beat them in darts, I take that, Tifa, and you, especially Biggs. Fuck you, Biggs. I felt weirdly compelled to get to the top of the leaderboard there. There's a very Kingdom Hearts-esque one where a bunch of kids in a village are like, hey, we play this game where we smack a shit ton of boxes that have point values on them and somehow they respawn when you're done.
I've seen people play that. It looks super tough.
That sounds a lot like Cage 2.
Yeah, it's super. It reminds me so much. But yeah, for what it's worth, I've had like a weirdly great amount of time with like most of the game, to be honest. That's why I'm not really like close to the end yet, is because like every time I get to a section where people are where like side quests open up, I literally stop doing whatever the quest the main quest is, just so I can keep pace and just keep clearing out all the side content. The gameplay,
I guess you're engaged.
the gameplay, I have already said this to you guys personally, but I don't think I did on the podcast. The gameplay and combat definitely remind me a lot of an evolution of Kingdom Hearts 2's combat. In that
Hacky slashy with the menu magic.
Yeah, hacky slashy menu magic, active turn-based. So like you have an action gauge that fills up where you can do spells again or use items or whatever, and then otherwise you're hacky slashing and doing dodges and stuff like that. And a block mechanic. Now the thing that definitely helps a lot is that you have a secondary mode where you actually switch to your heavy attacks, and it also makes it so instead of a regular block, it's actually a counter to be able to take an attack and then do an immediate counter for extra damage. It works really well, actually. I was actually really impressed, because right at the beginning of the game, I was a little bit like, and then the second I had 3 party members and I was actually fighting not just bog standard enemies, I was actually having like a surprisingly good time with it.
Good. That's what I'm most looking forward to about 7 Remake, is that combat got an overhaul and characters feel unique.
Yes, and being able to switch to each character and everything and actually control them specifically through action combat feels really cool. Playing as Tifa is probably my favorite thing in a while, because it basically feels like I'm playing like a shitty Final Fight or something like that. But it's a good time. That game, all things considered, and yeah, I'm the biggest Final Fantasy VII fanboy of all time. That's the reason I have that cover with Cloud's sword in the ground tattooed on my penis.
And you have that 7-day long podcast of yourself just like saying the word Cloud.
That's why
X Aerith.
That's why I keep
back
posting
and forth
that,
over and over again.
That's why I keep posting that podcast of 7 seconds of me just saying it's 7 seconds to Meteor. It's 7 seconds to Meteor. But yeah,
We still like you, though.
I appreciate that.
Like is a strong word.
But yeah, it's cool, and I really appreciate all the touches they've done to expand on things and make the game make a bit more sense in a modern context. I think it works surprisingly well. I did show you guys the textures in the game, though.
Yeah.
It's amazing how fantastic most of the character models look in the game, at least as far as the main cast and main villains, and then how kind of shit almost anything else looks. Or specifically, I'm going to say low res a lot of things look.
You got to make those rope textures the image for the podcast episode.
If I remember, I probably
Yeah, I
will.
agree with that.
That pile of Play-Doh.
Call it like fantasy burn. I'm trying to come up with like a rope burn pun here, but I got nothing.
My
Chocobo burn.
But yeah, it's fascinating, but like the uneven presentation has almost worked in its favor, at least in my mind, because there was no game that I can think of from the PlayStation 1 era that was more like extremely varied in its presentation than the original Final Fantasy VII. That game is built on the weirdest set of rules and presentation models ever. There are little fucking chibi models. There are big action models. There are flat 2D backgrounds, 3D rendered backgrounds. Like, the presentation is all over the goddamn place. And so in a way, the remake almost justifies its uneven presentation purely by that. That being said, it's all but confirmed that this game is not PlayStation exclusive, like considering how many times they've scrubbed ads of it saying first on PlayStation.
Mm-hmm.
So a PC port of this game, or even like a Xbox, I almost forgot the fucking name of that console, but the Sexbox, a Sexbox version of this
Xbox or
game,
Xphone.
would be greatly appreciated, if only for a high-res texture mod or something, just to clean up the presentation a bit. But these new interpretations of the characters, I think, are pretty great. I've seen mixed opinions about the I'm gonna use some air quotes here, but the waifuingness of some of the female cast. Specifically, there's Jessie, who I kind of really like her now, because I would personally say she is maybe the most forgettable thing in the original Final Fantasy VII, not the least of which being the fact that when somebody showed me her new model, my reaction was, wait, Jessie's a girl?
I was gonna say I never even heard of her from the original Final Fantasy VII. Not that I played it or anything.
Like, you guys do me a favor. Look up Final Fantasy VII and look up Jessie PS1 model. Go ahead.
I don't need to.
Yeah. So take a look at that and try to tell me that looks like a girl. But
I mean,
yeah,
it's in the name.
Yeah, but I know more dude Jessies than I do female Jessies, and it's the same.
I was gonna say that's kind of gender neutral.
With Sams, I know way more female Sams than male Sams. So
yeah, Jessie looks pretty. PS1 Jessie looks pretty androgynous to me. So
yeah, it's just one of those things, and like her new thing going on, and that she wants to be an actress, and she has this weird kind of, I don't want to go home because I don't want to prove my parents were right type of thing. You at one point have to steal a key off her like dying dad's like bedside table and shit like that. Minor spoilers. It's pretty early in the game. But
I had heard that a lot of the cast members get a lot more character definition, which sounded nice.
It makes me slightly worried in that I think this might almost be like a 7-part series, but for what it's worth, at least at the pace they're going, I've been really impressed, to be perfectly honest. Also, I'm going to call out the producers and the developers here that have been saying that this game would be fine for people who have not played the base Final Fantasy VII, and say that's bullshit.
gonna say, like, I don't know how much we can say without spoilers or anything, but I've heard things.
You can mention the time ghosts because the time ghosts show up in the first like hour of the game. I won't mention more specifics, but like there are plenty of points in which the story very specifically differentiates from what happened in the base story.
And like, I can understand people being frustrated with that. I've spoken to fans of FF7 about that, and they're like, I don't know. But it kind of makes me want to play the original Final Fantasy VII and this game more.
I kind of suggest it, to be perfectly honest, because the ways in which they differentiate the story is actually kind of compelling and interesting, because there's a point, again, early spoilers, but for what it's worth, there's a point where Cloud gets kicked off the team like before one of the major reactor attacks, and that's wrong. Like that doesn't happen.
I mean, I would kick Cloud off too.
So yeah, it's one of those things where I have heard things about the ending and I'm curious to see them myself. My opinions might change at that point, but personally, I do really enjoy my time with it. I am excited to see where they go from here. That being said, it could completely fuck up and go off the rails and shit itself inside out like Kingdom Hearts has, but
like Kingdom Hearts is eternally
forever. But for what it's worth, I am having a really great time with it. I love pretty much everything I've done thus far in terms of side questing and trying to save Tifa and just everyone's new designs. It's just it's been a lot of fun. Don Corneo and all that.
But Tifa's breasts are smaller and I can't see her underwear.
To those haters, I would personally say they don't seem that much smaller, and also she knows what a bra is now, so I don't know.
And also go back to your dojins.
Yeah, if you want porn, dude, like FF7's characters probably have more porn of them than literally any other human beings alive or dead, real or fictional, ever. So
if you want porn,
you got material.
If you want porn, I have this lovely service called Steam, where you can... I have this thing called Source Filmmaker that I could teach you a lot.
Gary's mod has some interesting new additions to it these days.
It sure does. I can't wait until Death Stranding comes out on PC so we can get some porn of that virtual version of Conan. But yeah, for what it's worth, Final Fantasy VII Remake, I've been really enjoying my time with it. I will check back in with it once I've actually finished it. I, as far as I understand, think I'm halfway-ish.
It's about 40 hours, I think.
Something like that, yeah. But yeah, so far, really enjoying my time. I actually think it's a pretty damn good shot at remaking this game. So for what it's worth, good job, Square Enix. You did something that apparently you thought was impossible forever, but...
well, technically they didn't remake Final Fantasy VII. They remade the first third of it. Sort of.
Maybe I'll eat my words, but as of currently, I'm actually thinking calling it Final Fantasy VII Remake is a very false way to advertise this. And for any...
Yeah, that's what I've heard people talking about in relation to the time ghosts and everything.
For any
the literal zeitgeist.
Yeah, I would actually for any Evangelion fans out there, I would actually call this Final Fantasy VII Rebuild.
That's got bad implications.
I mean, it didn't always, but yes.
Now it does.
Now it does, but that's neither here nor there.
Any thoughts on Final Fantasy VII Evangelion?
I think FF7.7.7.1 you cannot remake will be big in theaters.
Anything else you've been playing?
I have, but it will roll into a news story, so someone else is welcome to go.
Did you remember anything that you want to talk about? I thought I remember you scratching your head a bit trying to remember something.
Yeah, I'm just gonna duck out because I really haven't done anything else besides Animal Crossing and PSO2.
That's fine. didn't want to talk over you if there was something that you remembered.
No, anything I remembered, I've already talked about in other podcasts because my sense of time is very warped with the death corona.
Mine too.
Sure. Me too. So I guess it's me then. So I've played like 3 things, 2 of which are like smaller indie titles, and one of which is like a bigger thing. Obviously, Persona 5 still going. I think I'm about halfway through that. Persona 5 Royal, I should say. I think it's going well. Still no real complaints. So enjoying that. 3 other things. 2 small indies first. First is a Morticians Tale, which is a small indie darling in which you play as a woman named Charlie, who is a new employee at a funeral home in which she performs the processes needed in order to clean up and prepare bodies for funerals and everything. And I'll just say that it's a pretty simple game. The gameplay is mostly just like reading through some emails and obviously doing the whole body preparation thing, but that's mostly just pointing and clicking as the game instructs you to do. So gameplay-wise, not very complex. But if you're not familiar with how bullshit the death industry is, it provides a lot of real-world information about how fucked up the industry is as a whole. So if you're not familiar with that subject, then yeah, this game could give you some nice insights onto that terrible, terrible industry.
Rad.
So yeah, recommended for that. Another thing that I played was Superliminal, which is a puzzle game that I believe was given away for free on the Epic Store for a while. But it's a puzzle game in which you are in a sort of dream therapy, and you're trying to treat yourself through these like dream puzzle things.
Oh, I've played this game.
Yeah. Did you beat it?
No.
Yeah, I almost didn't either. So that thing starts off pretty strong, and like as a kind of has a pretty unique puzzle like gimmick to it, in that your perception of objects actually like alters their shape and physical characteristics. Like if you like walk away, if you walk closer to an object, it'll like appear like it's getting bigger. But then if you like actually interact with it in a meaningful way, then it will actually get bigger. Perception is reality is the line that they keep touting. So it's a neat gimmick that is used pretty well early on, but it sort of feels as though that's kind of its one trick, or like it's one meaningful trick, and then everything else that it pulls out afterwards are just like very small alterations of that. And I think I have somebody at my door. Hang on, talk without me.
Yeah, I remember playing a little bit of this game for like as like a preview or something like that. Yeah, it seemed cool. Yeah, I only played for like an hour, and I think this game probably shines quite thoroughly in a smaller context and smaller presentation, just because its idea only goes so far. But
I'm back.
Okay.
What are you guys talking about?
I was talking my small experience with this game.
Yeah. Very Portal-esque.
Or
of just
what is that? Fuck. What was that game made by the people that made oh my god, I've forgotten the name of this one too. Oh my god, I've completely fucked this up.
Cube.
It's another one of those.
Principle.
Not Talos Principle. It's that one that had Stanley Parable. That game that people made that besides Stanley Parable, it was like Creator something. That thing that was like an hour long. And
the Beginner's Guide?
Yeah, Beginner's Guide. So it reminds me of that.
Yeah, there's narrator, and he's like, hey, you're going to do the puzzles and stuff. So yeah, it starts off pretty strong. But yeah, after a while, it really feels as though it kind of runs out of tricks real fast. And the game's not super long to begin with. I think it's like an hour and a half or so. Maybe a little more or less, depending on how good you are at the puzzles. But yeah, it really feels as though it kind of overstays its welcome. And the last few puzzles, I don't want to like spoil things, but really,
like, are they bad or obtuse?
both. They really don't feel as though they build upon anything or introduce the mechanics very well at all. And whenever I beat them, I didn't really feel as though I became smarter or was thinking in a new or interesting way. I felt as though I had just beaten my face against the one brick that I needed to beat it against in order to bring the wall down, if that makes sense. So yeah, ends not great. It does end on a nice like personal note of sorts, or message, which is nice, but yeah, not the best of impressions overall, which is unfortunate. If you want to like check out the gimmick of it and the perception is reality thing, then yeah, like the first 20 to 30 minutes I think are great.
So like super on sale, pick it up.
Yeah, let's go with that. And who knows, maybe I'm just stupid and didn't fully understand or appreciate the waiter puzzles or
you
something.
Didn't see what it was going for, man.
Maybe not. I forgot about another thing that I wanted to talk about. So I have 4 things I'm talking about. Oh my goodness. Another thing, Jackbox Party Pack 6. With the apocalypse going on and everything, friends and I have been trying to get together occasionally to play some party games. We're big fans of the Jackbox series, and so out of the blue, as it was on sale, I just picked up Party Pack 6. That includes such fine games as Joke Boat, which has you guys crafting jokes based on prompts that you also write yourselves. There's Role Models, in which you try to fit you and your friends into certain categories or with whatnot based on various hypotheticals, like which of these members from the Scooby-Doo gang are you? Other such things. There's Push the Button, which is like one or multiple of you are an alien on a ship, and you need to respond to prompts in various ways to figure out who it is. Trivia Murder Party 2, which is more Trivia Murder Party. It's a trivia game with a murder theme. You got that? It's complicated.
Was it 4 or 5 that had the one where you had to get people to rap things?
That was 5, I think. I think there was like a giant robot rap thing, which I haven't played.
I have not played 4 or 5 or 6, and I hate that I haven't.
I've been meaning to play 5. Pretty good.
What'd you say, Molly?
I was saying that I played 6 a couple weeks ago with some people. It was pretty fun.
Yeah. We've been having a lot of fun with it ourselves. Role Models and Joke Boat, in particular, are pretty fun. There's also Dictionarium, in which you have to like create a definition for a word that it gives you, and then create synonyms for it and whatnot, which is also fine. But yeah, it seems like Joke Boat and Role Models are the killer apps from this pack itself. So yeah, if you want fun, good times that you can stream out to your friends and play games together, that's a strong recommendation.
Yay!
Any of those packs are really. Last thing I wanted to talk about, XCOM Chimera Squad.
Yeah, I played a little bit of that too.
Yeah. So for those of you who aren't aware, XCOM as a series is usually about defending Earth from invading aliens and whatnot, and in a strategy-like setting, and sending out troops in turn-based battles to shoot and miss their shots. And most of that is still intact. However, XCOM Chimera Squad takes place after the events of XCOM 2, in which the alien overlords have been driven off of Earth, and now we're trying to live peacefully on Earth with aliens and alien-human hybrids and whatnot. The game itself takes place within a place called City 31, I think. City 17, whatever the fuck it is. And you're a sort of police force, which is trying to deal with various gangs throughout the city. There's a more overarching plot between them, but it's not very involving. So yeah, outside of that, it is typical XCOM for the most part. You, instead of creating your own soldiers and them having the potential for permadeath, the game has swapped to using defined characters, sort of Fire Emblem-esque in that style. In which they'll still level up and gain new abilities and whatnot, but they have defined personalities and traits and other such guff. And while I understand that most people in the fandom are kind of disappointed by that, given that permadeath is no longer a thing and that you would lose like permanent characters that you need, I think it's actually kind of worked out for my benefit, because I'm actually playing on Iron Man difficulty, which prevents you from save scumming for the first time. And I think I enjoyed the experience more because of it. And I was willing to do that because I wasn't worried about losing a soldier weight game and getting screwed over in the entire playthrough because of it.
I was going to say personally, my experience with it, with a set team, It actually feels a bit more satisfying when you run up and you somehow miss a 95% shot. And then I have a specific face to blame and a person that I can curse out at the end of a mission.
Thanks, Verge. You're great.
How on earth did you have a shotgun in his mouth and somehow you missed?
Yeah.
That breach mechanic
That still
is
happens.
cool.
Yeah, the breach mechanic is fine. That is another new addition in which before you'll enter a new encounter, it sort of replaces the ambush or shadow, whatever the fuck it was in XCOM 2. So you'll choose like various points of entry into a new battle encounter, and those will have various perks or cons attached to them, and you'll determine like what order your troops enter in through and whatnot. So that can add new flavors to encounters as well. Yeah. Other than that, pretty typical XCOM experience of gathering resources and using resources to research things and upgrade stuff, and it's a fun game. I enjoyed it, and I beat it, and I think it was like 30 hours. Yeah, just about 30 hours. And for $10, it was a real steal. I think it's now on for 20, but I'd say that's still not a terrible value. XCOM Chimera Squad available now on Steam.
Let's see. I don't remember. Did you guys? Well, I don't remember. Did you go over that thing where now all of a sudden the turn order is actually like you enemy instead of like your team?
Forgot to mention that as well. That's another change from the original XCOM formula of in XCOMs 1 and 2, you would have all of your troops go in what was essentially your turn, and then all of the enemy troops would go in what was essentially their turn. But now they're interspersed, and so it'll be your troop, then an enemy troop, your troop, then an enemy troop. And I think that actually kind of works out to its benefit in a way, because it gives you like more things to consider tactically. You might want to prioritize certain targets based on how tough they are as enemies or what's near your objectives and hostages and whatnot. But you might want to also prioritize enemies that are going next in the turn, because if you distract them or kill them, then obviously they don't get to take their turn. And so then instead of an enemy having a turn, your next troop just goes next. So yeah, I think it's also a net benefit for the experience. Did you have any thoughts on it?
Not too much. I only played like 2 missions in thus far, but all in all, it seems pretty cool. I do actually kind of like having a set team and all that, and the permadeath kind of not being a thing anymore. I think the presentation is kind of all over the place, since it has like 2D like portraits of characters, but there's also 3D models, but they also kind of don't talk directly to each other. That part seems a little weird, but I mean, beyond that, like, you know, all in all, for the fact that, like, for the most part, they were selling this game for fucking $10, it seems like a pretty good value to me personally.
Yeah, there were some other problems as well. Like XCOM 2, when it released, it was pretty buggy. I hope it's been patched since then.
When I first launched the game, it told me I didn't have a graphics card.
That's not ideal.
So that's and I was like, "Are you sure?" Times. And then the game was like, "No, we're pretty sure. We looked once and we didn't see it." So
I had one in which my troops just like completely froze up and didn't take orders, and they were like stuck in. One of them was like stuck in his animation of like moving between positions, and I couldn't bring up a pause menu or anything. So the game was essentially hard crashing, and I almost had to like completely hard reset my computer and everything because of it. So that was real bad.
That's fun.
So yeah, presentation and bugs are not great as well, but yeah, still pretty decent value on the whole.
Yeah, it's
and those are my games.
So I've got one other game. Sorry, was there anything anyone else needed to bring up?
I'm good.
Nah, I'm all right.
Okay. I played a game called Valorant. Maybe you heard of it.
Isn't that a new hero-based shooter of some sort?
So it is a sort of hero shooter made by the League of Legends developers.
You okay there?
Oh yeah, I was just imitating a snore noise because you mentioned League of Legends.
Okay, that's fair. I didn't know if you were blowing your nose or something.
No, he's just a hater. But yeah, so I, by some miracle, got into the beta, considering basically the way they were passing out the keys for this thing. You had to register a Riot account, register a Twitch account, link those, and then watch a random Twitch stream, and then you might be eligible for a key, and you would randomly get an email with said key.
I had no idea it was that complex.
That being said, that worked like fucking gangbusters, considering that game at one point was having upwards of like 1.7 million concurrent viewers. So,
Damn.
I look forward to League of that fighting game doing the exact same fucking thing, and hopefully making that game popular, because I would like a new strong fighting game contender.
Hmm.
But yeah, so Valorant. A lot of people compare it to Overwatch meets Counter-Strike. I would actually far more specifically say it's League of Legends but Counter-Strike, because so much of the actual like execution of the gameplay just feels like League. Because and I've spoken to people that actually play Counter-Strike a lot, because I have a lot of coworkers that are deep in the trenches on Counter-Strike, and they actually often say that the different lanes you can work down are actually far more limited and closer to League than it is Counter-Strike, because Counter-Strike, you have a lot of options and different avenues to be able to counter an enemy push, whereas this game very much doesn't. It has like some set lanes, and that's about it. I would also specifically say it's really not like Overwatch, because you have to be good at shooting in this game. The end of the day, your ability to get a headshot is going to usurp almost any kind of hero ability.
The time to kill seems really short.
It is. Yeah, it's I mean, I don't think it's bad. My personal opinion of it is I don't really like playing games that are this slow, because you don't have a sprint button of any kind, and your time to kill is so low that it kind of feels a little sluggish to me personally. But I mean, that's the same reason I didn't really play Counter-Strike, was because I felt like it was rather slow.
And because you wanted to protect your Steam account from hackers and woot gamblers.
What are you talking about? Those are my people. But yeah, it's I don't know. I mean, all in all, I'm curious to see where the game goes. I did have some fun with it where it was, but I would personally say the hero abilities definitely look a little low res and kind of shitty looking, even after I like cranked all the graphical settings as high as I could. I know they're trying to make it so like a fucking Korean like lobby of computers can play it, but for what it's worth, I think an HD texture pack or just like some added features for people that want that would probably be appreciated.
Yeah.
Think you'll keep playing it?
Not currently, because of a news story that we'll be getting into. But yeah, for what it's worth, I don't know. It seems neat. I'm sure it's going to be popular. I've definitely seen some Counter-Strike people saying that it doesn't have enough options to keep its meta on the up and up. So I'm curious to see how that goes and what kind of responses they make about making sure that it's competitive. But as is, I don't know. I've played worse. It seems fun. It seems fine. Just not really my thing.
Thank you for sharing, because I was curious about that.
Yeah, it's for what it's worth, it's neat. I would share my account, but then Riot would immediately ban me. So, oh well.
Maybe next time.
Maybe next time. I think it's supposed to be out by the summer anyway, so whatever. Anyway, so yeah, moving into a news story here. There's a game called Valorant, in case you haven't heard about it.
Do we need the news sound effect?
Oh man, you guys are so
Every
awesome.
time.
We're gonna talk about the news now. Stuff that's been going on. God, I hope any of it's good. Fuck.
So anyway, there's this game called Valorant that has an anti-cheat measure that actually has kernel-level access to your computer when you install it.
What does that mean for people who are dumb?
There are multiple layers of security that Windows follows, and the kernel is actually at the base level administrative access and basically has usurping access over anything else.
The godfather of computer security.
Yes. So, I mean, for what it's worth, this game, I think the game is fun and fine. I actually, the thing I want to highlight, just because I feel like not enough people have mentioned it, there's a gentleman that actually works on Riot's anti-cheat team who is actually a rather avid Redditor, and he's actually very open and honest about his work. And I appreciate how open and honest he is. I'm not going to pretend like I'm somehow magically smarter than him. But speaking personally, I don't feel very comfortable having a game that has top level access to my personal information and computer under any circumstance, let alone companies that I trust or a company that I don't. And I don't have any reason to not trust Riot, but I don't have a lot of reason to trust Riot. So,
yeah.
So, yeah. But from the amount of players I've seen, I'm willing to hazard a bet nobody cares, which is alarming, but oh well.
It's easy to not care about cybersecurity until something happens to you personally.
Yeah, basically. How could this have happened? Oh, no.
Oh.
Oh, no!
Oh,
Speaking of...
Oh, my God.
Speaking of oh, no, I see that Google Stadia is written into our news notes.
Do we need a sound clip for them?
It should just be like the sound of the last dying breath of some old man.
Should fuck themselves up. The Oscars
That'll work until we.
fuck themselves up. Fuck
That'll
the
work until we
Oscars.
find something else.
Fuck the Oscars. Fuck you.
I love that, Dev.
Doug, what's going on with Google Stadia?
Not a lot.
Next story. Thank you. Thank you for sharing.
The primary news story there is just, boy, there's not a lot going on with Stadia. And also they were giving away like free things of their premium tier of service and awkwardly being like, more to come. And not a lot of more to come has happened. Also the awkward thing where Doom Eternal came out on it and does not run at 4K on its 4K mode. Gaming at 4K is stupid anyway. Yeah, this is a personal rant, but gaming at 4K is so stupid.
What's wrong with it exactly?
It's specifically the amount of taxing resources that goes to playing a 4K with current technology as opposed to 1080p, especially in a scenario where this more applies to computer people than it does like console players. But like, I sit close enough to my monitor that the differentiator between 1080p and 4K from my distance is nothing. It's anti anything for me to be able to tell a difference. So speaking personally, I don't see the point in playing in 4K.
Yeah, I've always had trouble like telling the difference between higher resolutions and whatnot. So I've never really paid all much attention to 4K or anything. And thank you for helping me to further justify myself.
Yeah, I'm kind of the same way. As long as I can make out everything, I couldn't care less.
Exactly. That's just my whole thing, is just the diminishing returns seem so ridiculous in comparison to the amount of horsepower that it takes to actually render a game at 4K. But anyway, have you guys seen the weird stuff going on with NASCAR?
No, I didn't know what this was either. I don't know most of these news stories, if I'm being honest.
I heard nothing about NASCAR.
That's perfectly fine. So NASCAR, in response to all of this quarantining stuff, has moved a lot of their races to being virtual races. And the two incidences of which I'm going to specifically bring up are there was one where a racer decided to rage quit in the middle of his race, and his real life sponsor dropped him because it was a real televised event. And the response
when you say that these are virtual, are they just holding Xbox controllers or something, or are they
they're using like the steering wheels and pedals or whatever, but they're playing like Forza or some shit. I don't remember.
That's awesome, I guess.
That sounds goofy.
It is specifically where he gets dropped from his real life sponsor, and the response on Twitter is, "We don't sponsor quitters."
You should put that on your product name, on your product box or something.
Monster Energy, not for quitters.
For quitters.
There was also a weird scenario in which another racer, and I'm not going to pull up a clip for this because I don't have any interest in getting banned on Twitch, but there was another gentleman that couldn't figure out his mic, and he thought no one could hear him, and he just randomly blurts out the N-word on national television.
Oh.
But like, not even in like a hateful way. It's almost like he's testing, like, 1, 2, my mic sounds nice, N-word. Like, it's literally out of
1,
nowhere.
2, Lovecraft's cat.
And you can hear in the clip as another racer literally goes, "Hey, you're talking to everybody, bud."
Like, just doing the joke of like, boy, it sure would be terrible if somebody could hear me right now.
Yeah, basically, I guess it was a weird, interesting thing. Similar to those marble races that keep showing up on Twitch now.
I love those.
Those are amazing. So anyway, moving on to some sad news. RIP to Fiji. Boy, I hope I'm not butchering this name, but Fujiwara. He was the Japanese voice actor for Axel from Kingdom Hearts, Reno from Final Fantasy VII Remake. He was Colonel Hughes from the Japanese voice cast for Full Metal Alchemist. He also did some extras in Hunter x Hunter.
Oh, do you know what was the cause?
I don't remember off the top of my head. I want to say it was cancer or something. It was not COVID from the sounds of it.
That's what I was wondering. Yeah, but yeah, it's terrible.
Yeah. R.I.P.
Yeah, I hate that we have to ask now anytime someone dies, was it COVID?
Yeah.
Let's see here. I think these two stories will be a little quick. Shout out to Nintendo's really shitty online security, and shout outs to the Pokemon community for finally getting those source codes for blue and yellow. Mm-hmm. I can't wait for whatever dumb shit you stuff into that game.
This source code will help make our Dolphin emulator run that much better, and then you'll be able to play Super Mario Sunshine at the highest resolution you want.
Missing number has finally been added to the 152 Pokemon in the original game. But,
yeah, I saw some people commenting about what emulator they thought would benefit most from this, and obviously none of those people were high-level experts, so it was impossible to get an idea, but suffice to say, Nintendo source code, usually pretty highly protected and highly sought after, so it's going to benefit a lot of folks.
Oh, this was a bunch of shit that like you never get to see in the public. Like this was a legitimate leak, and it was a lot of stuff. It was nothing current as far as I saw, but it was a lot of stuff. Even like gameplay footage of fucking what was it? Mother 64.
Oh damn.
Oh jeez.
Yeah, like stuff that was super dead and super canceled and never existed, and but yeah, it was neat. It was cool to see. My personal guess would be N64, because I do know there was a lot of N64 documentation that got leaked, and there's still some wonkiness with N64 emulation. So personally, that's my bet. Let's see here. I want to congratulate all of us on our entrance into EVO Online versus the Red Bar Army.
Oh yeah, it's my time.
It's my time.
Flag it out.
They got Killer Instinct.
Ultimate
they
Evo.
both enter.
Ultimate Evo versus Netcode 3.
Shout outs RIP to Arc System Arc System Online because all of your games were auto disqualified.
And RIP to Smash Ultimate.
For obvious
For always
reasons.
having shitty online.
For having the shittiest online ever.
Like,
But hey, Skullgirls
impressively
finally
bad.
made it into EVO.
It sure did. It almost
It
feels
only
like
took 10 years.
it almost feels like a nice little pat on the head. Oh Lord. Let's see here. I think I can roll these up into one story here. So, Ghosts of Tsushima and predicted dead forever, but somehow not. Last of Us 2 have release dates again.
Yeah, they do. Last of Us 2 coming out next month, and Ghosts the month after that.
Yep. I have actually now seen some actual gameplay of Ghosts of Tsushima, and I'll admit I'm a lot more interested now.
Yeah, you now know that it's a video game.
We
So
now
it's
actually
easier
know it's a
to
video game. And
understand.
it's got adorable foxes.
It's an open world action, stealthy, play it how you want,
It was really
take
funny
over enemy.
to see the character walk on a tight beam, and I went, "Oh, this is that same engine," because his character model did the exact same balance pose as Cole and everybody else in the fucking world in their games.
I miss you, Infamous.
I miss you, Sly.
I was gonna say, I bet I miss Sly Cooper more.
I miss Sly Cooper a lot more.
Is there another story you want to tie to this?
Well, there were some bit of a leaky ship on the Last of Us 2 train.
The Last of Us proving to be a very apt title.
It sure is. I personally, I think maybe Wally and I can discuss this further if he has interest, maybe in a separate podcast or something. I'm not going to be shitty and just shove it down everyone's
Definitely a
throats.
spoiler cast.
It's a super spoiler cast because it's the beginning to the end of the game.
Yeah, like all of the cutscenes got leaked, was
It
it?
sure did.
Yeah, entire storyline.
With a fucking like debug menu in the top left corner so you know it's real.
And it's
Yeah.
not good.
No.
People were wondering about the source of it, and Sony has apparently identified them, and apparently they're like third-party hacker folks, but
Well-
they haven't disclosed any information.
So the one thing I'll say about that, and I'm actually going to wag my finger at the community here because a bunch of people kept trying to spin this as some dev was pissed off about the game getting delayed again or something. And the whole time I kept saying to myself, you have no proof that a dev did this. I didn't personally see any reason a developer would do this. My first thought was this had to have been like some fucking random intern that found shit happens, man. People leave USB sticks of pornography at medieval times. This stuff happens.
Allegedly.
And
Allegedly.
there's our Pitchford quota.
But yeah, Sony, you earned yourself one of these.
Though I can understand why people were wondering about whether or not it was devs, given that people have become increasingly aware of how terrible the working conditions at Naughty Dog are. So it becomes increasingly easy to understand or visualize like a dev being so fucking done with that place and just posting that sort of thing online.
Oh yeah,
it is sort of
crunch. They big crunch.
Yeah, like even in the video game industry, which is full of crunch, even Naughty Dog are on a whole other level, and it's terrible. And fuck them. But so yeah, I can understand why people would assume that, but I think that it kind of like oversimplifies the relationship that these devs have with their companies, and that they do probably like. I think the mentality that Rockstar employees had for RDR2 is another good example of, what they experienced was terrible and they hated it, but they also still loved the game and didn't want the game to suffer as a result of what happened to them.
Yeah.
But anyways, I hear the game's not good, and
you still seem as hyped as ever, so
I'm more hyped, if anything.
I'm becoming stronger.
I enjoy seeing bullshit unfold right before me and experiencing the horror for myself. So yeah, if you guys want to talk about it here, like, I'd let you, but I would need to like run away for like however long it's going to take.
That's why I'm saying it'll probably be a spoiler cast for later on.
Yeah, that's best.
Or
but yeah.
I guess we could do it at the end of the episode.
Yeah, if you wanted to. But we'll see. We'll see how we feel and how much time we take. Look forward to The Last of Us 2 coming out next month, kids.
Some people are looking forward to the release of Last of Us 2.
Views of this podcast member do actually represent all of the entire podcast, despite what anyone else says.
Oh no, Chuck hit the "I'm the boss" button.
Shit, I didn't plan for this.
Let's see here. PlayStation 5 did an Unreal 5 tech demo. Did any of you catch it?
I didn't bother because, tech demos don't mean a whole lot, especially these days.
I don't have anything Sony, so no.
That's fine.
Was it a good tech demo, did you think?
I don't know. I'd scrub through it for a minute. I will personally say I feel like even just for Unreal Engine, I do at least appreciate watching their incremental steps, because it really reminds me of even like back in the day watching that video of Cliff Bleszinski playing that tech demo for Gears 2 with the fucking meat cube or whatever.
Meatball, water bubble.
And like just watching Unreal's incremental steps, working on texture pop in, working on facial capture and stuff. And this time around, I would actually say animation fluidity definitely seems like it's taken a step up. So at least that was my personal observation. But yeah, for what it's worth, I don't know. It was worth scrubbing through for a minute just to see where like the horizons of tech are looking to go, and I was happy to see things that are not just look at our ray tracing. Look at it.
Maybe I'll go with that.
Look at it.
I want all of you to look at it. References.
People love references.
Yay!
Yay!
No.
But yeah. So let's see here. That's everything news-wise I've got, unless you guys have anything else.
I got nothing. Though I think I hear something on the horizon.
Yeah, I feel like I hear a mill spinning up.
Well, yeah! It's Wally's Rumor Mill Submarine Solar Powered Extravaganza!
Oh gosh, Wally, what kind of rumors you got for us today?
Well, everything's about Spoderman 2.
Oh.
No.
What's the rumor, Wally?
Well, the rumor is Spider-Man 2 is coming.
And this is Spider-Man PS4 as opposed to the original Spider-Man 2 or the Marvel Spider-Man 2 or the
Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Or the Amazing Spider-Man 2 or the Into the Spider-Verse 2.
Fantastical Spoderman.
No, because we know Into the Spider-Verse 2 is happening, and that's going to be great.
Yeah.
Woo!
Hell yeah. But this is PS4 Spider-Man 2, or now PS5, I guess, possibly.
Yes, now with Black Spider-Man. And a 2021 release date rumored.
Yeah, that's
That'd be sick.
yeah. I would assume with that release date, it would have to be for PS5, unless they're also doing something like Xbox is doing, where you buy it for one, you get it for all.
Mm.
That'd be cool, but considering they have yet to clarify that, I'm worried that's not the case.
Yeah, I worry that Microsoft's going to take the turn of being the user-friendly console the next generation.
I mean, they sure have gone through every step humanly possible besides just putting money in your wallet, so...
Yeah, they are really trying to find some edge over Sony, and I think they have it now.
It could be possible, but it'll come down to the games, I think. And price, obviously.
They're eyeing each other hard enough that I honestly feel like I'm not going to hear prices for either of these consoles until like the week before release. They just keep staring at each other and their eyeballs are bleeding and they're just waiting for one of them to blink.
I would sincerely love to like have gone back to the E3 in which the previous consoles prices were announced and everything, and to just like know if Sony did actually change the PS4's price tag based on Microsoft's press conference. I would pay anything to learn that.
I thought that was all but confirmed.
That's what I thought we had heard, but I wasn't sure if it was official or anything. I would just do anything to be a fly on the room as decisions were being made and when they were being made.
Oh, absolutely. That would be an incredible fucking HBO documentary.
Yeah.
So yeah, Spider-Man is coming out. Any other rumors, Mr. Wally?
I feel like I had
Not
another one.
really.
Yeah, I was going to say, I feel like I had another one, but I forgot it, so, oh well.
At this point, if it's there's not a whole lot going around.
Yeah, I was going to say, between quarantining and slowly building up to a new console launch, there's just not a lot happening right now.
Mm-hmm. Heard Phil Spencer, I think, talking about how most game development and everything is going to be fine in the immediate future, but like distant stuff in like 2021 is where shit's going to really hit the fan, because at the moment people have been able to mostly adjust to working from home and everything on stuff that's like already mostly in production or like shoulders deep in production. So like, but starting a project from scratch in these conditions is, I think, has borderline stopped, from his words.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, I believe that.
Well, plus, like, how many employees can you actually trust out of the thousands and thousands that work on games now to actually have like full builds of games in their private homes?
Not many, and not enough.
Yeah.
And to not leak everything from home too.
Yeah.
As recent events have showed, possibly. Well, no, never mind. I take that. That's not applicable. Never mind. Forgot I said that. Scratch that from the edit. Edit that out. Edit that out right now. Did you edit it out?
Anyway,
Did you do it though?
thank you all for joining us on this wonderful day, and Chuck incriminating himself.
I need you to edit that out. Doug, if I needed to edit things out of podcasts to stop incriminating myself, where could I send potential things I said to that effect?
Well, you can send it to questions@alternativeinput.com. What was that again, Wally?
That would be questions@alternativeinput.com.
Oh, that's so awesome to hear. Hey, Chuck, I didn't quite catch it with Wally. What was that email address?
Questions@alternativeinput.com.
That sure is it. You guys are...
I was actually sweating a little bit, and I could feel it in my throat, and I swear to God that wasn't intentional.
I felt you almost screwing that up.
Oh. Thank you all for joining us.
Thank you all. Have a good one, everybody.
Yep, until next time.
This is literally intro music for another podcast I do, so playing it as outro music feels weird.
I can see that.
Okay. Well, thanks, guys.
Yeah, this is great.
Another great
Yeah, no
series
problem.
of episodes.